With the successful launch of the NX-01 Enterprise in 2151, Starfleet Command would quickly order more of the class to be built, and the second NX-class starship of the line, the Columbia, would have a brilliant start to her career, eventually becoming one of Starfleet's biggest mysteries for over 200 years. But what's the mission history of this important starship? Well, today we'll find out. Hello and welcome to another episode of Truth or Myth Beta Canon, a Star Trek web series that dives into the history of any given topic using beta canon sources and my own imagination to fill in the gaps. In today's episode, we're taking a look at the NX-02 Columbia's mission history to better understand its place in Star Trek history. Please note, the history of the Columbia has always fascinated me. Typically, second starships off the line don't really get the royal treatment in Star Trek, but Star Trek Enterprise has done enough, rightfully so, to introduce the Columbia that it definitely sparked my imagination. But of course, and as always, because this is just a bit of beta canon and fan fiction, all information relayed should pretty much be taken with a grain of stardust, and only considered a little bit of Star Trek fun. And so, with all that out of the way, let's begin. The NX class had been a hit for Starfleet Command and the planet Earth. Not only expanding humanity's knowledge of the cosmos, the NX-01 Enterprise had revealed several potential dangers humanity could face in its future. And so, very quickly, Starfleet Command ordered its construction yards orbiting Earth to begin construction on several more vessels of the class. The NX-02, eventually named Columbia, would be rushed into production, and as a result would suffer several flaws to its upgraded design that would prevent its successful launch in June of 2154. As the construction progressed on Columbia, Starfleet Command began the daunting process of choosing her captain. Frontrunner in the race would be A.G. Robinson, a charismatic and reactionary Starfleet officer, willing to bend the rules and sometimes even break them for the greater good of Earth. However, shortly before the captaincy of the Columbia was to be announced, A.G. Robinson would die in an accident while climbing Earth's Mount McKinley. And as a result, Erica Hernandez, second frontrunner and well-respected Starfleet officer, would be named captain in Robinson's place. With construction on the class completed for her original launch date of June 7, 2154, troubles with her engine systems would end up delaying the Columbia's launch until November of that year. Like the NX-01 Enterprise, Columbia's first mission would start with a bang, engaging in a rescue attempt of Enterprise. After the starship had fallen victim to Klingon sabotage, the Columbia would merge warp fields with the Enterprise, so that Commander Tucker could be transferred aboard the vessel via a spacewalk and fix the problem before Enterprise could be destroyed by it. Sometime later, Columbia then assisted her sister ship in recovering their chief medical officer, Dr. Phlox, from the Kuvat colony and engaged several Klingon warships in combat in the process. In mid-2155, Columbia would be assigned to protect several shipping lanes used by members of the newly formed Coalition of Planets. On July 18, 2155, Columbia received a distress call from Dralax and would be ordered to assist Enterprise, and together they were successful in defending Dralax from attack by 3 Romulan-controlled Klingon battlecruisers. Almost the moment her repairs were complete from the Dralax incident, Columbia was forced to defend a number of freighters in the Alpha Centauri star system from Romulan-controlled Vulcan starships. All alone, Columbia suffered severe damage, being saved from destruction only by the arrival of several Vulcan Defense Force vessels. And Columbia would spend 6 months in dry dock, receiving repairs and upgrades as a result. During the subsequent Earth-Romulan War, the Columbia would serve with distinction and honor, involved in several important missions that would help end the war in Earth's favor. Upon completion of her repairs, the Columbia was assigned to oversee the installation of the Vulcan-built early warning system to be installed throughout Coalition territory. In May of 2156, Columbia was part of a task force alongside Enterprise and Challenger assigned to create false ion trails into a nebula close to Romulan space, all as a diversion from another operation taking place for the war effort. In June of 2156, while escorting a mining convoy, the Romulan Star Empire would use their new weapon, the telecapture system, to take control of the Columbia and use her to destroy the convoy. Faking a self-destruct sequence by detonating a photonic torpedo while simultaneously initiating a short warp jump allowed the Columbia to escape its captors, but again she had sustained heavy damage doing so. With its warp drive and communication systems irreparably damaged, and more than half its crew killed in that escape attempt, Captain Erica Hernandez ordered the ship to set course for a planet that long-range scans indicated might be able to help the limping starship. However, in order to reach the planet without its warp drive, Columbia was forced to push her impulse engines to achieve near-light speeds, which in turn caused the vessel to experience the effects of relative time dilation, arriving at the planet in 2168, though only 63 days had passed for the surviving crew aboard the ship. Upon arrival at the planet called Erigal, the inhabitants informed the Columbia crew that they would never be allowed to return home in order to protect the privacy of the planet's native inhabitants. This set in motion a sequence of events leading to Erigal's star going supernova and the destruction of the planet, creating several unstable subspace vortexes in its place. Columbia, attempting to flee the supernova, would enter one of the subspace tunnels, being transported to the distant Gamma Quadrant, with the loss of all hands due to the radiation emanating from those anomalies. Some crew members from the Columbia did survive, however, aboard vessels constructed by the Erigal, commandeered during the attempt to escape their captors, but having traveled through the same vortex, would also be trapped alongside the dead hulk of the Columbia. The disappearance of the Columbia and her crew became one of the most enduring mysteries in Starfleet history for over 2 centuries. But in 2373, the mystery would finally slightly be solved when the Columbia was discovered at its final crash site on a planet in the Gamma Quadrant by Captain Benjamin Sisko and the crew of the Federation starship Defiant, forced to abandon their investigation into the Columbia mystery when Jem'Hadar ships were detected approaching the planet. And 2 months later, the Dominion War began, making the recovery of the Columbia a low priority. Finally, in 2381, the mystery of how the Columbia reached the Gamma Quadrant would be revealed by Captain Ezri Dax and the crew of the USS Aventine. Columbia was returned to Utopia Planitia shipyards for several celebrations and festivities to honor the long-lost starship's return, and eventually she would be placed in the Starfleet Museum alongside her refit version sister, the NX-01. The Columbia, however, would never be open for the general public, being seen as more of a mausoleum than a playground for school children to wander around. As important as her predecessor Enterprise was, the Columbia would forge her own tragic path throughout the cosmos, earning this vessel its sad but honorable place in Starfleet and Federation history. Thank you for watching today's episode of Truth or Myth Beta Canon. What do you think of the tragic history of the NX-02 Columbia and the historical narrative that I've created here? Do you want to see more videos like this one? Well, leave your comments in the section below, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, hitting that little bell icon so you won't miss a single video we release. Want to help the channel escape a supernova through a vortex and not be killed in the process? Then consider becoming a channel member subscriber or a channel patron, both a major help that allows this channel to purchase resources and 3D models to keep it going. The link to both memberships is in the description below. Thanks again for watching. Live long and prosper.